Well, with me now is Stacy Schneider, a Manhattan criminal defense attorney. She was also a contestant on Trump's TV show, The Apprentice. Also with me, Jeremy Saland, who is a prosecutor in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Stacy, I want to start with you. We now have all the alternates seated. The jury is seated. And can you explain to people who may be wondering why there are 12 and then 6? What's the instance in which an alternate would have to step in here? Is that something you expect?
Sure. In this case in particular, I actually expect an alternate to step in. I think they're very valuable here. We saw what happened in jury selection. They had picked 7 jurors, and then 2 jurors came back the next day and wanted to be off the panel. So anything can happen here. This is a wild card case. It's extremely different, obviously prosecuting a former president. So what will happen is, if a juror gets sick during the trial testimony, or has a family emergency, or something goes wrong in their personal life and they need to step off the case, they will go to the judge and ask permission. Hopefully that never happens. But the alternates are sitting next to the jury while the trial is underway. They are hearing the same evidence that the sworn-in jury panel is hearing, and they will be immediately available to step in if needed.
You know, I'm glad you kind of mentioned the process that we witnessed, or at least read about, in terms of jury selection. And Evan alluded to this too as well, Jeremy, where in one case in particular, a prospective alternate was talking and started to cry. She asked to be dismissed after she said, quote, "This is so much more stressful," in her words, "than I thought." These jurors, without question, are going to be under a ton of pressure. And I think this morning we saw the emotion come out of some that underscores that these aren't just kind of random unnamed individuals. These are real people, and this is something that you can't even fathom unless you're one of those jurors. How does that affect this case, Jeremy?
It's extremely problematic, and I've said multiple times, there's the Donald Trump who was the innocent until proven guilty, and if proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, in that courtroom, and deserves the same due process and the same presumption of innocence that any one of us have. And then there's a Donald Trump outside that courtroom who says a lot of very vitriolic and frightening and aggressive things that gives pause to be very gentle and nice to potential jurors. We know that about the judge, we know that about prosecutors and witnesses, and it has a really negative and frightening impact on those potential jurors who are scared potentially to say, I don't want to be a part of this process, I don't want to be subject to scrutiny, I don't want the media talking about me and my family. I don't want people showing up at my house or saying things about me online. So it's very, again, I use the term frightening repeatedly because it has a way to taint the jury. It's not good for the jury to have that constant agony or angst. So the best thing that Donald Trump can do, and Judge Merchan can do, and this can be discussed later on, is really get Donald Trump to stop saying the things he has that incites people to do things that are adverse to the criminal justice system.
Yeah, it's a critical point, and I think open question, and as you noted, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I do, though, Stacey, before we get to that, talk about what we know about the 5 alternates selected today, because Evan made the point, you know, whatever the former president says on Truth Social or what he's been talking about this trial and a fair trial in the jury, it hasn't necessarily lined up with a woman who's originally from Spain, married with an adult child, does not really, at least according to her, follow the news, says she doesn't, quote, have strong opinions about former President Donald Trump. There's a man, all we know about him is he's a native New Yorker who loves martial arts. Stacey, when you at least read through kind of those top line things, what stands out to you?
What stands out to me is this alternate panel of 5 is perfect for both sides. This is the most neutral, vanilla panel out of all the jury selection that has gone on this week. Most of these 5 jurors are not really that into the news. They're not watching as much. They tune into certain news stations, but it's not a hobby or a habit. And that's good for both sides. That's the ideal juror in this case, is the most neutral person possible who doesn't have an opinion about Donald Trump either way and is willing to listen openly to the evidence presented by the people of the city of New York. I will add one funny thing, though. The second juror who was picked, what we know about them enjoying martial arts, I predict that this trial is going to be a martial arts display between Donald Trump and Michael Cohen. So that should be interesting for that person sitting there listening to the evidence come in.
Yeah, if they're entertained by martial arts as part of their love, they're certainly going to get a lot of that back and forth. We're seeing some of it in the Sandoval hearing right now. Jeremy, a couple of the other alternates, there's a woman who's said she's not a big news person, looks at the New York Times, Reuters, and BBC, does not have social media. Another woman who works for a clothing company, is married, gets her news from Google. When you kind of think through this in your former role, how are you approaching this as this all kind of plays out?
Well, you know, there are some people who would say you just pick the first 12 and then you pick the next 6 if that's how many alternates you're going to have. I don't necessarily subscribe to that view. But you want people who are smart enough to understand some things which might be a little complex, meaning this is not a hush money case. This is about whether or not these records are falsified in those elements and whether or not there was an effort to conceal a separate crime. So you want people who are smart enough to grasp that and take themselves out of this and look from the sort of outside in and say, well, did the prosecution prove their case and not hold them to some unrealistic burden? And you want those jurors who also are going to not, concerned with a lawyer who's a juror, not to impose their belief, but follow what the judge says and understand that there's going to be a witness here. For example, Michael Cohen, but not just Michael Cohen, who is admitted to lying, who's been convicted of crime, and say, I can still be objective. Yes, prosecution, I'm going to hold you to the burden, but no criminal defense. I'm not just going to side with you and say, because Michael Cohen, for example, has a criminal record, I can't find him credible. So I think they've done a good job. And to Stacy's point, this is a fairly mundane group, at least on the 6 alternates. But they've done a good job to find jurors who appear to be smart enough, have engineers, attorneys, a teacher, to follow the law and be above and beyond. But at the same time, they have that common sense to say, I can understand credibility. I can look at that person and see what they say and then make that assessment.
And if you're watching right now, you see on your screen the hallway where the former president has departed from in the past. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on that camera over the course of the coming minutes and hours. Stacy, the idea of objectivity, I've talked to some people who were just kind of passively observing all this, to the extent anybody can passively observe something related to the former president, who said it's not possible. Everybody has an opinion. This guy's got 100% name ID, basically, at this point. Everybody likes him or hates him. It's one of the two. Do you disagree with that?
That there's really nobody who can be that objective about Donald Trump? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, essentially, can you objectively, can you look at this case for what it is and separate however you feel about the individual?
I see, which is exactly the question the jurors were asked by the attorneys on both sides. I mean, I think all of us as human beings want to think we're fair people and that we're not going to be judgmental and we're going to sit in the room and listen with an open mind. But again, we're all human, and for those of us who've watched Donald Trump on television, and I've certainly, been in the room with him many times through my experience, it's hard to separate that from the man sitting at the defense table who looks really tired and grumpy right now. So, those preconceived notions, those opinions, even though jurors have sworn that they can put them aside and make a judgment, they always come in. It's just human nature.
Yeah, and that's the challenge for lawyers on both sides. Stacy and Jeremy, hang with me. We've got much more to get to.